Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Gaming with Blockchain. I'm your host A-Mine, and we're in the last segment of the robots, eggs, farms, and the metaverse. We're wrapping up, and this one will be a doozy because it is about the OGs. There are 5 games that we've started with a while back, and we're just reviewing what those games are and where they have stand the test of time. But as always, please do your own research. This is not financial advice. This is something to consider, review, just suggestions, and don't invest what you're not willing to lose. Also, thank you for following and sharing, and continue your support. I look forward to hearing any of your comments. So what has now been here in this place of the metaverse, the robots, and everything else in between? We're going to go backwards. The games that we're kind of part of, we have assets in, excuse me, and then kind of reversing on what we think needs to happen, what we are not sure about on ourselves. So we're looking at here is the Uplift World, and I've touched upon this before. We are still trying to figure out how to get ourselves in here and find items that are of how to build. We still haven't figured it out. But if you're not sure of what this all means, this is what you're looking at. You're looking at here is, like all the games, NFTs that kind of generate a mining rig in order to receive a token. This is same principle. You purchase all these different rigs and NFTs. Each one has a certain amount of power that you earn per hour, and then you can, in this particular instance, you have to accumulate at least 1 million before you can transfer it out. That's been happening. I'm waiting to hit our million, and then I'm sharing this with our partner, and we distribute. But in the world itself, in the Uplift World, they're now released. They started releasing rewards for when people are walking around on the world, right? This was part of the thing. If you had land or rail, and people were navigating around or playing around in that region, you would earn rewards. And so as of the 28th of December, I earned 3 uplift points for region. I'm not sure what region it was that was given. And I think that again, it's something as part of the strategy to understand what will be the appeal to do this. And if you invested more, like right now, if I want to, and I go back and I kind of review, okay, can I boost this drip power a bit more? I'll go on to Atomic Hub or any other marketplace, like Nifty Blocks, and say, okay, how much other rigs can I get, and add to that collection, and then boost my earning power. But in the Uplift World, I can look at the assets that I do have. So I have this asset. I'm in a sand area. This is the server that particular land belongs to. And I am now going, okay, what am I going to do with it? I haven't decided yet. And you can see right now, there's a lot of people who have not built in that area. Because, again, so you think about a server size, it's huge. These are massive areas in which to build. And you can see that Rplanet has one right there. So I'm not too far from Rplanet, but still nonetheless, it's about building something within that's going to be attractive, and you want people to kind of enjoy themselves. So we haven't thought that through just yet to figure out what would that be. And it's been a while, I know, definitely, but you want to do it, right? And we just haven't got our head around it. So this is Uplift. They're chugging along. They're doing really great. But and I think the best benefit about this, you can look at it as well. If you're a Minecraft enthusiast, this is your world. This is something that you really want to take advantage of. Here's some of the builds that had happened in Uplift over the last few days, and activities that have been going on. And I'm not a Minecraft person per se, but I have to appreciate this as well. I've said that in prior sessions and videos. This is a lot of work. This is a lot of build. There's a lot of concentration. You have to really stand up for that and go, okay, cool. So, you know what? If you're into it, again, it's a suggestion. Take a look and see. It won't hurt, and hopefully, maybe by that time, we'll have something built somehow and somewhere. We're just kind of figuring out what, like everybody else here, we're all like, what do we do? What should we do? We're not sure just yet. So now moving on to our planet, but before I do that, here's Borealis. Is part of our planet region that is yet to be built, as well as Swineland. And you can see there's few areas in Swineland that have been constructed, and that's a Swineland server. So what has been going on our planet? So you can see it's happening here. You can see some little spots. I'm not in the game. This is just a map. The game itself is a different story for Uplift World. So if you really want to do the game, you have to really get into the game. I'm just doing a bird's eye view from a map perspective. But now moving on to our planet, what's been going on our planet. So I'm not going to open up the staking rewards because there are none. If you look at their news article in the last couple of weeks, they've been announcing that they're restructuring their staking awards and Ether accumulation. Again, I said in previous episodes, this was something to be expected. A lot of games are reevaluating and reassessing their gameplay structure. Our planet's no different. Now, the only issue I think what our planet has had is because the deliverables haven't happened as much as people had anticipated. So hopefully, with this change, the deliverables in terms of the gameplay will also come into release as well. Now, what they're doing in the project, and I'll show you if I can get this open, is that they're creating almost like a 21 block explorer type of entity in their earning or Ether earning mechanics, and it'll be up to the community now to contribute or basically stake the Ether to the project of choice that they really want to see being part of the 21 group. I think it's pretty interesting to see how that pans out, because now the communities, it's now up to the community of each project to support that project's chance of being part of the 21. Not up to our planet. Our planet is doing their own NFTs to support their project. Okay, which is fine. They should have, that's something I can't knock at all. And then you have 30 days in which you have to wait before you can unstake, which is, again, seems long, but in terms of not having people pull out and in randomly within 3 or 7 days, it helps build a little bit more sustainability. I think the challenge I have is how would you maintain the possibility of not being bumped to 22 just based on a small deficit of 100 Ether or something of that sort. I think the ranging mechanism will be a challenge in order to maintain the status of the 21. I think possibly the bonus factors may have to change in order to enhance that tier. I guess it's something to really think about and see once it gets launched. But you can read about it here, and you can find out, what the voting structures will be and how that will all play out. Again, Q1 of 2022. So that's one of their ways. So, and I think that's a way to where they're not necessarily burning the Ether, which some people were hoping they do. Or maybe it's a burning mechanism that will happen later on. So if I look at the tools that I have right now, and I'm logged in, I thought I did. And you'll see that I have 0. So everything went scaled to 0, nothing no longer available. So all these projects here now have to kind of ramp or rally up their fan base and say, okay, look, we have a chance to be part of the first 21. So right now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 projects. So it means there's enough room for 7 more to be added to this pool. And of that pool, this could be the top 21 who makes the best effort across the board. So I think this is going to be an interesting scenario. And of course, these are not listing ones, newcomers that will come into place. So that moving forward, I think it will be something that people are anticipating and hoping that they can achieve in Q1 of 2022 in order to again support other projects that they're supposed to deliver on. So because everyone's anticipating when, right? When is the question? When is the project coming? When are these robots? If we scroll down right here, this is the robots that we saw back in October. When will that happen? But everything has to come in stages. Everything has to come one step at a time, be developed in layers, and then hopefully everyone is content with how it kind of unfolds. I'm curious to see how this game will be played. I'm curious to see how all the tokens will be utilized from the land tokens, how it kind of interacts with Uplift land options. If you were upgrading in Uplift, is there a connection or no connection at all? So there's a lot of questions. But it's about being patient here. Again, it's a wait and see. I haven't, been crazy in playing crafting in Rplanet. I found it at some points too frustrating. So maybe that's going to be changed if they bring new crafting tools and better crafting mechanism. Again, in the beginning it was great, but once you have the growth factor, you can start to see the lag and how things start to bottle down. But like other projects, sometimes you have to go back a few steps in order to kind of go forward again. So that's Rplanet. Again, still part of my portfolio, will always be part of my portfolio. They're not going anywhere. I'm not worried. Next, KOGs. This is a game now that I've had assets. I probably explained briefly in earlier episodes about the whole game itself, and they now have developed a mobile game that was released a couple of months ago in beta. So you have to enlist yourself in the beta and test out the game and play to earn as well. And all the assets that they had before were primarily just assets to collect. It was a collector's assets. Now those assets are now playable in the game. And let's take a look and see what this is all about. Hope you can hear the volume now. Definitely think pretty cool graphics. I think interesting gameplay. If you remember Pogs in Time, I do. It's like kind of knocking other players' pegs out of the ring, or sometimes just flipping them over. What would be different here is you don't need KOGs to play. Now, if you do get KOGs and you start collecting KOGs, it does enhance your gameplay. Again, like other things, it's not necessary to buy in right off the bat. You can test it out, you can see where things are, and then explore the options. But you can look at, they have their own marketplace and their own store. I'm not going to load it up because it takes a little bit of time to do so. And then they have the collection portion. So you can play the game and earn coin. And then from coin, you would have to convert to RFox token. That's one of the key elements to kind of extract your earnings from the game. And to do that, you have to then sign up. So you have to have a Wax account, and then you have to sign up with RFox ID, because RFox is creating the bridge between Ethereum and Wax wallet, and then taking the coin from the game, the coin that you play in the game, bring it and convert it to RFox, and from RFox you do the conversion to Wax. I'm not going to get into all the details here because I'm just giving you the idea. We'll be doing a different segment on the play mechanics or the earning mechanics at a later date. But the option is that you can build and create your COG sets and play the game on a mobile device. It means you can do it anywhere. You have your 3 easy mission logins that you earn the coins with, and then you can enhance your gameplay through tournaments or challenges. So I'll show you if you were to do the collection part. So as it here, it's called shubs, and these are now based on sets that you can build upon. Now this is what I was doing for the last few months, is so gradually trying to build my sets so they can stake the set, and the staking values and staking rewards are set here, which then you can go through and read more information about. And those staking sets now could be later on applied in the game. So someone can rent your shub if that plan still falls through, and use that in their gameplay. So this is what the collection element is, and the collection on the COGs does verify, change quite a bit. No, that's not where I want to go. But you could also create your own NFT. I mean, you take your NFT, create your own mint COG. So that's another bonus if you were into doing that. And I want to, not my collection, I want to show I guess it's the set guides, and why, yes, here we go, set guides, and why that makes this interesting, because it's based on, if you look at the COGs and people say, okay, well, there's so many of them, there's so many different, that's the whole point. From the slammers to the borders to the color to the art, you have so many variables in which to build a shub or build a collection set. So in this case here, this is ultra rare superset, because it's now dealing with this type of border that includes X amount of slammers and so forth. You have the rare superset, the various types of borders, depending on which border it is. In this case, this is the pumpkin border. And then you have the uncommon. In this case here is red border number 19. You have all types of, but you can see the volume gets higher to complete the set. This volume is a little less, and this volume is far less COGs needed, and so forth. And then you have the rarest of rares, which is the ultra rare royal superset. Probably one of the hardest ones to achieve. But then this could be staked. Generally, the staking period is about 3 months. Then you, once the staking period is closed, you receive the rewards in RFox tokens, and then you can reapply and build another a shub, and then that shub could be put on for rent and for use. So the COGs has gone through a huge development strategy from when they first launched the COG first edition sets. COG's first edition sets were just sets to build all your collections and all your elements. And then later on, the game evolved to the point where this was now established, where this was always a point that to build a slamming COG game. And they've achieved that now in beta, which then you can go in and earn. The process to convert, it may be a little friction based, but again, like anything, it's just the beginning. They'll definitely be looking at ways to kind of simplify the process. Guarantee they'll find a way to make this a little less obstacles to try to retract what you've already earned. So I do recommend it as well here to, again, further research, look into the game, understand what the gameplay is like. Always ask questions. Okay, I like the style of stuff. You may not want to play the slam game. You may want to do the collections, or vice versa. You may want to do do both. It's entirely up to you. There's just so much vast options available to you, and I definitely enjoy it. Like I said, I'm in it because I like the game, so I like the idea of the game, so I'm supporting that. But I'm also intrigued by the artwork. That's just one of those things that I look for when I see new projects coming in. So they had the Marvel Spider-Man. They had a sneak peek of what's coming in January 22. So definitely worth considering taking a look in. All right. So now we're moving forward We're down now to the last two. We went through Uplift, Rplanet, and KOGs. We're now looking at Alien Worlds. First, I have to say, this is one project that has probably had one of the most challenging years overall, outside of their control. So there's one thing where you have challenges that are within the development team. There's another thing when you have challenges that are from outside the development part. So let's recap what had happened. Alien Worlds, and they launched last December 2020, and within a few months, interest and traction was built, possibly putting the token on an exchange that was not registered for. So people were inflated, thinking that they had these high gains, and it just wasn't happening. So that put a sour spin on the game, which they had no control of it, and no one was paying attention. That's what people, right? Then after that, it was a bot attacks. People just taking NFTs and then botting it through. They had to put a halt on that, and so all these other mechanics have come in to kind of deter all the bot activity as much as possible. And then they went quiet for a while, very, very quiet. They're just, everyone thought they were gone. You hear through social media, and I'm like, nah, they're too quiet. Lo and behold, I should even backstep. They launched the Binance teleport, glitchy, didn't work, and they're supposed to have the launch pad. Like everything was happening, but all of a sudden things just went quiet. And suddenly, next thing you know, here you see us. You hear not only a brand new interface, a functional teleport, missions in place. You're just going, wow. Now, as I said, people will say, oh, this is not fun, this is not interesting, this is not this. It is exactly what it was designed to be. It's a mining game. You strategize your mining efforts. You earn as much trillium as you can. Earn as many NFTs as you can to enhance the features later on as the game evolves. And they've done just that exactly. I have to say, this is one of the best interfaces I've seen. As far as a revamp, every time I look at it, I'm trying to find fault, and I can't find fault. From the clean mini view of where you are, the tools, if you need to switch a planet, switch the land, from inventory to shining, if you're ready to shine, the governance sectors, if you want to go, governance teleport, and missions. Your trillium that you have, connect to the teleport mission, what you have staked, and whatever is staked in BC trillium. What's in use in terms of tools that's in place. If you look at your inventory, it tell you right away what's in use. You can just hover over, and it gets its clear outline of the tool, of what the charge times are, what it's all about, how much time you have left. You can sort by equipment only, avatars only, weapons only, minions, land. It's all there, and it's clean, extremely clean. So now if I look at the missions, same thing. If I go into missions, I connect to my MetaMax, it should be already there. Tells me I'm on it. And it shows where the missions have been. Again, another clean interface. Tells me my inventory, tells me what trillium I have available on the Binance side of things. What missions I've been on once I've connected. One's finishing in about 14 hours. What's been received. Clean. Now, the only thing I would say On this particular site, on a desktop, it works fine. It's still a bit of a glitch in terms of doing this on mobile. I've had a few times right now where I'm trying to do a mission, especially if I see a mission that's been set to stationed, and maybe I'm at work or whatever the case is, I can't participate. It just doesn't go through. For whatever reason, the transaction end of the MetaMask does not populate for me to say confirm or okay. But once I come online, once I get home again, then it's good. Everything works smoothly. But this has nothing to do with the interface. This is just something in the coding in terms of how it works on the mobile. But in terms of the interface here, oh my God, like I can't fault this. There's nothing I can find here. Every time I come in here, I am just looking at it going, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm looking at things, everything that I need in my possession or access to is right there. It's all there. I could just, full screen or hide the side elements. Now, again, fun is relative. People say, well, it's not fun and it's not this. Again, it's all relative. This is strategy. This is about mining Trillium. You take the time to mine Trillium. If you don't, then you don't. You find your tools, you find your resources, and you apply the best tools. So to help with that, and I wish I knew the creator of this particular tool. I don't know, and I want to give them credit. So whoever you are, kudos to you to building this. If you're new to Alien Worlds and you're unsure of what is going to be the best strategy, then here's a tool, and we'll put this in the show notes, that can help you determine the best review of Trillium or NFT. Now the NFT is not live right now. You only get the NFTs through unique projects that have been whitelisted and bought free. Alien Worlds has not opened up the NFT yet until they can narrow down and really kind of close off any botting. So that's still pending. But in the meantime, if you're looking to mine Trillium, especially now that they've now been added to, oh my God, USD on Beatrix, and I hope I'm saying it right, USD pairing on Beatrix, this is where you would want to do it. So you can select your land, select your tool. So if I'm going to go on Dunes in the Rune, it tells me there's no charge time. I select, let's say, a small shovel. It gives you all the kind of builds and what your percentages will be in terms of executing this particular task, and you can build it from there, and you can add to it. I think this is very helpful, especially if you're a new player and you're just kind of getting into it and going, okay, what do I want to do and how do I kind of associate myself to this. Utilize it, figure it out, play around with it. I'm just waiting for the time where you can save your sets. That's one of the next advantages I'm hoping for, that you can save your mining sets associated to whatever particular land. That would be cool. But in the meantime, having a tool where you can make these applicable changes and kind of play out the scenario, I think that's also equally advantageous. So for me right now, Alien World UI is number one. Alien World UI is AAA. End of story. It's AAA in terms of functionality, clean, accessibility, neat. Kudos. You guys have done a great job. So now we're down to the last one, and we're hitting Upland. And man, have they done some stuff in the last few months, I have to say. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying so. Upland is underrated. Upland is underrated. Yeah, okay, I said it. Why? And we'll first go through what's been happening the last 2 days of December and what they have announced. The economy has grown, and I could vouch for that. They release cities now. They do not stay open long enough for you to buy a property. You'll be lucky in most cases if you find a property to buy that's first mint. So yes, the economy has boomed. Metaventures are coming in, which means they're bringing in a marketplace for, say, block explorers, legits. We'll get to the legits, and we'll show what all that means. Structure ornaments, outdoor decor, portal uploaded NFTs, and I've touched on that before. But really, the Metaventures, what would that all actually mean? And I'll give maybe an insight, an idea. Okay, the Block Explorer shop beta, that will be the first one that's going to be released. This is now the trial and testing the features and the performance of a marketplace in the game. And the person who's running that particular shop will have to have venture dues. They're going to have to be paying a certain monthly fee in UpX to sustain this particular shop. So the ideas there, it has to now be further explored before you can now expand to other marketplace concepts. Now, what will that happen is that there's going to be a icon on top of a property, and that property, when you click on it, then will show you a internal store of what's been available for sale. Now, doing all that, one thing you want to be able to say is that even if you buy something, can you trade it within? Would this marketplace work like Atomic Hub? I have it, but now someone else wants to get it, and I want to be able to send it to them right off the bat, or they want to buy it from me directly within the game or within the marketplace features. So again, I think all that will be explored once that gets tested. Now, they're saying here limitations are that the Metaventure entrepreneurs will only be able to list their own assets for sale in UpX, soon to be followed by ability to list assets for USD. We're also working on ability to list items on behalf of other players. So again, that's going to be really advantageous, enabling shop owners to act as a broker in the universe. These features are deployed. Each entrepreneur will also have the freedom to manually set commission rates for other players who wish to list their items in their store. For example, a shop owner can collect 5% commission on a sale of other players' NFTs, which will be paid to the shop owner at the time of purchase. Alright, so we see where we're heading here. But now updates to the economy and monetary policy. We're going to have UpX transfers. This is something I've been dying to have happen, and I think a lot of players are dying to have happen. That you can send somebody in the game UpX for the sake of the sending them UpX. It has nothing to do with the property change, especially since UpX is closed. Now I knew they had to kind of restrict or not open up the door because they had to find ways to kind of minimize any abuses. But seeing that this is now becoming a possibility or soon a reality is a blessing. Property earnings adjustment. Here's that thing. I knew this was pending. I knew this was coming. There's something they always mentioned for a while, and it's now happening. Now, my hope is that this happens after we get the Block Explorer going, or the UpX transfers in place. But then again, it depends on where they're heading. I'd like to see some other activities happening in the game before the property earnings adjusted, just to offset the dip of earnings per se. But we'll see what happens from there. So I think this is a good thing because the economy, and I'll explain what that means, is a big learning. It's starting to build on its own. When Upland first started, yes, it was very centralized. Yes, it was a closed market, but there's a reason for that. In order to build something that's going to expand beyond the boundaries of founders' control, we have to first make sure the model itself is sound. And you can't do a sound model if at every point of entry or any turn of event there's something that's changed. Too many other variables coming into place. So you had to kind of create some kind of solidified element to assure that the progress moving forward can follow through. And I think they've done it, and I don't fault them for doing so. But now that we see that the economy is strong enough, again, we'll show you why, that expansion to start releasing and opening up to third parties, they're bringing in more third-party developers, opening up to third-party access, shows that they're about to go a little further beyond the closed market. NFT to USD 10K cap is being lifted, And I can understand why. If you see some of these properties that sell higher than 10K, it makes sense. You want to be able to have people take out what they need to take out, assuming that, of course, it's a legal transaction, right? Collection holding requirements. Okay, this is not so much a surprise, but again, I could see why, because what has happened now is any new city release, there's no collections. Don't know that there's a collection, which I think is remarkable. I think that was something that had to be done because there was always these abuses. People knew somehow could get through the blockchain and find information about a collection before, say, a non-tech person can do that. So there was an advantage. Now that's stripped away. The city's release, you don't know what collection is where. Now upon that, what was happening prior is that people would just flip these collections quickly. Now there's going to be a holding period. You have a collection, you can't flip it, you can't sell it, you can't do anything for X amount of time to be determined. I think that will help, again, keep some stability in the market and assure the abuses are minimized. But this is something I suspect was coming sooner than later. Uncollected earnings accumulation cap. Remember, all these projects are reevaluating, right? I'm not surprised. I thought this was going to happen sooner, but not surprised. And I can understand why, because if you have a dormant player, there's UpX just collecting. It's taken out of circulation because it's now locked somewhere, and it kind of hurts the matrix if you're looking at kind of analysis of what gameplay is. This kind of forces a little bit more productivity or participation, but at the same time limits how much UpX is now out of the gameplay, I should say, versus in gameplay. If it's somewhere it could be utilized and somewhere to be traded or for purchases, it's something rather than just being held. So I think that's not a bad call. Spark login bonus. I read about this. I'm not sure how I feel about it overall. I think I'm hesitant on it only for the fact that I think it has to have something else more than just a login. Whatever they do, it can't just be a login. It has to be something and a login. But we'll have to see how that unfolds. So now let's take a look at the game itself and see. Now, as you can see, these are all the cities. You can see from all of the train stations to the block explorers all the way around that, Upland has been moving aggressively forward, and there's a matrix or a tracking tool, but a matrix tool that's being built behind the scenes to replace the one that existed before. That, again, why I say this Upland's been underrated. That, along with the gameplay that I just described here, all these changes will be fundamental in distinguishing Upland from any other metaverse game. Upland is distinctively different. It's not like any other game. So some people have a hard time understanding the mechanics because it doesn't fall into the same games of the same style as other metaverse games. All those other metaverse games, in my opinion, and this is just in my opinion, are just a mirror of each other. It's slightly different, but theoretically just a mirror of each other. Upland is taking it entirely out of the scale, out of context, and revamped it entirely. Now, when I say metaverse, I'm going to say this now. It's a 3D world where you see other engaging players within that 3D world. That, to me, defines a metaverse game. If it's just NFTs with land, that is not a metaverse. Because that's it. It's just a land-based game, and you may earn land, and you have land, but it's not a metaverse. Because I'm not seeing other players in the game environment that I'm playing in. I'm not in a game where I can see a 3D environment possibility. So again, some people may disagree. And the other thing that's different from Upland as well is also it's very relatable. So even now, I'm buying this asset. I'm buying an asset where I'm familiar with the game structure overall. If you play Monopoly, you're kind of familiar with what that means and how that plays. And if you're buying a property, and especially if you live in that region and area, you can relate to it. You can relate to it in a real world aspect. All these other games, metaverse games for the most part, don't relate in that same way. And and then again, they don't have to. That's not the point. The point is what I'm saying is why Upland for the most part is undervalued and undervalued for the most part because it's just so distinctively different. But now let's take a look at what's going on in the game. So we see that a lot of the cities there's many cities, and they're all sold out, except for FSA. So if you're an FSA player, a new player, meaning you are buying properties that are available to you. If not, good luck. If you find something that's a first mint, good luck. I don't qualify for FSA, and I'm not going to find any properties anywhere now unless they're green or light blue. That's the market. But now let's take a look at what this Metaventures is all about. Let's see how this icon is floating over. Once it kind of populates, there we go. Floating over a structure, or not necessarily a structure, but an area. That's going to be somewhat what the Metaventures moving forward are going to be like. So I can click this particular shop. It's going to load. This is now the NFL base. This is now the Nashville NFL shop. And I can buy based on the teams, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Houston. And it's okay, well, I want to look at the Houston's inventory. They have an early sale that's going to start. I don't have any football. I'm just showing this for display purposes. And I can view, okay, what's going to be the one that's going to be on sale, or what's still left, what games they played, and I can see, okay, this is what was on the market, and everything else is now sold out. So if I want to try to find anything, I have to now maybe sign up for this next sale and see if I find any product or any item. That is what the NFL shops, or the Metaverse venture shops are going to be like. Now, will that entail going into a building and navigating within the space? That's yet to be determined. I think that will come around again once this layer of development's in place. So that eventually what will turn over is that now instead of having this icon, it's not only instead of having an icon, you're now clicking into the building structure, and you're just kind of going through your shopping experience within the building. But that's later. That's, again, these are stages of development to get the process moving forward. And remember, that's in here. I am not going anywhere else. I'm already in the game, still in the game, to go at this particular location and say, okay, what's here? What can I get? If I go to another location, I'm going to turn off all the other explorers. And I had, that was just offered that I did not look into yet, but I'm just going to turn off other explorers and hopefully have it speed up a bit. And let's see, let's go to another one here, Chicago's, and Chicago Stadium, and Green Bay, let's see, shop now versus now what's available. So right now, in terms of how many people have registered, they're at 87% to register for the Green Bay versus 13% for Minnesota. To look what's there, to look at Green Bay, the winning game ball, that's already sold. We can go to Minnesota here, and they're winning, that's sold. So you can see all these items are gone. Gone, right? I can click it just to select it, and you can find out who owns it, and you can scroll around, to see the jersey, and that's what we have right here. So if you're a football fan, I think it's pretty cool. Non-football. Mind you, some of the jerseys I would, but they have to actually look like the football jerseys. But there you go, that's the Chicago Stadium right there. And that's what's built. So imagine now when you bring in the Metaventures and the cars, when you bring in the, again, additional block explorers, when you bring in property decor, additional properties, these are the factors of what's going to drive the upland economy forward. Because again, it's not just a matter of here's a property, here's a build, and just walk around. You want to investigate. You want to see what's going on, and you want to have the best advantages that's possible. So let's see what's Cleveland. I'm just going to do that one more time, then we'll look at ours and see what they have on their market roster. And bloody hell, everything's sold. Seriously, people? Wow. Who would have think that many football fans? Okay. Well, don't underestimate the market. If that's nothing that's being said here, I understood. Don't underestimate the market. So I'm going to go to what now is the interest here in terms of, in terms of the neighborhood. So you're buying a property and you're going, okay, so what? So I'm buying a property. 216 Delbrook. This is where I want to be. So I'm going to search for the property I'm staking to. Oh, I'm going San Fran. That's one thing I would hope they would do, that when you do a search, you choose a city you want to search in. That would be great. I think that will be one of the next upgrades. Hopefully it shows up. There we go. And that's still an issue. And this freezes when it does a zoom. But now you can see the property aspects here. And what would be the point of having all this is because later on, when neighborhoods are evaluated, this is what's going to be the evaluation process. What has been built, what has been constructed, how well has the neighborhood or the area moved forward in their vision, and this is where the points come in. Extra points, extra perks, extra incentives, first dibs probably on different things. This is what's going on. So you want to be part of a certain collection that's doing that, or you want to be part of a node that's going through there. So in Upland, you have all these neighborhoods here. Whoops, wrong thing. And everyone's building nodes. So everyone's trying to buy out as much of that particular area or particular region and maximize the control factor of that zone, so that whatever developments they move forward with, that development now is going to work to their advantage, whatever development that is. If it's later on to bring in beehives for all you care, that's probably what their driving force will be. This is the point of all this excitement behind Upland's new project development process moving now in 2022. There's a lot of vision that's now being released, and now with the growing support team to help them deliver that, I think they're going to be a major contender in the metaverse stream of things. For those who can see past the, get rich quick, and for the sake of just having novelty over longevity. So this is our OGs. We went through them all. Uplift, Rplanet, KOGs, Alien World, and Upland. Some have been less than a year, some definitely over a year. Both have survived, both have had their troubles and tribulations. They're moving forward, and it's one of the things that we're not at all concerned on these projects. It's not where I'm worried that these projects are going to falter and all of a sudden not go anywhere. I think behind the teams on each of these projects are sound visionaries. Like I said, I think it's just a matter of really bottling down and getting the clarity in place in order to push the objectives forward and to the next phase. So I hope for 2022, if you haven't looked into these games yet, you reconsider them. If you have any questions, definitely send me some info. Like I said, Uplift, we just have to figure out what we're building and how we're going to build it. We actually have to find some people who have certain land plots, and we just don't know how to source those individuals out. Rplanet, we're just waiting to find out what the final structures are in their gameplay and understanding where they're moving forward with. KOGs, I'm just trying to get my next shoe built. I'm working on that as we move forward. Alien Worlds, well, one thing I hope they will do, and I haven't seen it just yet, is when the NFTs come in and they really start dropping those NFTs, or even now in place, how can smaller landowners take advantage and utilize the NFT drop system? What services are these services very straightforward, or are they again extremely highly technical? So I think that's something Alien Worlds could definitely help out with. Is again, if you want to set up a drop, what is the simplest way to do it? What's the cost? But I think those are the things that are being worked through. And Upland, if you're into Upland, look at these nodes, look at the teams. I'm part of the Potteria Hill. There's other Red Hook residents, as well as another shout out. I'm part of Spice Track. There's many nodes that we were looking to build and develop. Again, it's long-term vision. It's long-term vision. It's you want to get your flips. You want to take some stuff home and have some value, but at the same time you also want to show that there's a development structure in place. So until next time, until we see again, maybe it'll probably be about I was looking at doing these maybe on a weekly basis, but no, I don't think so. I think I'm going to do these on a slower ratio, possibly maybe once a month or once every 2 months, allowing the games to really take hold. All the other announcements I did in the previous videos, the same thing. If I see some major changes in gameplay, unless questions come around, I'll definitely be bringing those up to speed as well. So I have the OG content, and then I have those other segments that I talked about in previous videos. So again, Happy New Year. Stay safe, and until next time, enjoy your play. Take care. Bye.